Hello, everybody. Week 1 of the NFL season is here. My name is Seth Dewald. I'm the editor at playerprofiler.com, and this is Starter Stream. So, on today's show, we're going to get to as many of your questions as we possibly can. Some of the big news up front. Many of you probably know Mark Andrews is out today, so make sure you get him out of your lineup. Also, Christian Watson is going to be out today. So big news there. Some more inactives just to get them out of the way. DJ Chark's going to be inactive today. Kendre Miller, John Mechie, inactive. I'm not sure why those people would be in your lineup, but if you're in deeper leagues perhaps, make sure you get those people out of your lineup. Zach Moss is inactive today. So if you were counting on him, maybe as a Jonathan Taylor replacement, he is inactive today, according to NFL.com. I think that's about it. I'm rolling through. Elijah Higgins, I guess, is if you're, I know he was a big dynasty pickup, is inactive today. So we'll get to your questions, and we'll get to as many of these as we can in about a 30-minute window. So the first question we have is from FF Blankenberg. Dalvin Cook or Higbee, tight end premium, 2 points per reception for tight ends. That's a great question. I would probably lean Higbee because I think the Rams are going to be playing in catch-up mode. Obviously, they don't have Cooper Kupp today. I think the Rams are going to be good enough to move the ball against Seattle, and likely those targets are going to go to Van Jefferson or Tyler Higbee, and especially if you're playing in a 2 points per tight end premium. I play in a lot of those leagues myself. I'm guessing maybe that's on safe leagues. I'm playing Tyler Higbee in many, many leagues, and I know the reports are coming out that Dalvin Cook is going to take the majority of the touches because they're trying to ease Breece Hall back into action. But there's a lot of different options on that New York Jets offense, and so we'll see. And I'm going to go Higbee there. We got G-Hop in the chat, Isaiah Likely or Freiermuth in PPR. Ooh, that's really close. I'll go Likely because I like the matchup a little bit better, and the role is going to be more solidified. That San Francisco defense is pretty tough. Hurst or Likely, a lot of Likely questions. I'll go Likely there for sure. We got Ball is Life. Shout out to you. Breece Hall rushing props are about to sink my season. That's good. I like that. We got Lefty in the chat. Deion Jackson, I'm assuming that's who you mean, or Samaje at the flex. That's a great question. Reports came out that Javonte Williams will be heavily involved in the offense. So I'd probably lean Deion Jackson there, but that's really, really close. Evan Joyce in the chat. We got Dylan Ayuk or Jamal Williams, half PPR. Man, I do like Jamal Williams this week. Jamal Williams at the beginning of the season, since there's no Kamara, I do like that quite a bit. But I also like AJ Dillon this week too. I think you got some good options. In half PPR, I would lean with the running back in that situation. But good question there. We got Andrew Castle on Facebook. Shout out to Andrew. Half PPR, start Najee or Brian Robinson. I am going Najee Harris there. Maybe that's I'm just gonna go Najee Harris. I know Brian Robinson's playing against Arizona and should be in a positive game script, which means he could fall into the end zone 2 or 3 times, but I'm gonna go Najee there. Addison or Flowers. Let's see. I'm a sucker for Zay Flowers. I'm going to go Zay Flowers today. I'm playing him in just a ton of DFS tournaments. So Zay Flowers, really cheap in DFS. So Zay Flowers, I think, has a big rookie first game in Baltimore against Houston. We got Money in the chat. Shout out to you. Jaden Reed or Marquise Brown, drop one. Oh, man. I think you got to hang on to Hollywood Brown, as much as it pains me to see you drop Jaden Reed. Hopefully your roster's really deep, but if you're going to make me choose like a Sophie's Choice type thing, I'm going to take Jaden Reed. Maybe not the best example to use or metaphor. Okonkwo or Hayden Hurst. I assume that's the Okonkwo from Tennessee. That's close. I'll probably lean Hayden Hurst. We get some positive reports from Carolina about how Hayden Hurst was doing from camp. Cody Carpentier reported on that. So I think Hayden Hurst over Okonkwo, as much as it pains me because I was really big on Okonkwo earlier in the season. Got George in the chat. Nice dog picture. Jaden Reed or Elijah Moore. I'm going Elijah Moore. Daniel Duong. Half point PPR. Deontay versus San Francisco or Tyler Lockett versus the Rams. I'm going to go Tyler Lockett there. I think there's a big play potential for Tyler Lockett and a lot of those Seattle playmakers. The trouble is with this. The trouble is that you're worried probably Seattle's going to get up big. They're going to run the ball. But I think you do have to play Tyler Lockett in that situation. Thanks for the question, Daniel. We have Joshua NG Ning. Sorry, I don't know how to say that. Musgrave, Hurst, or Likely. I'm going Likely today. I think Likely is going to have a big role in the offense today with Mark Andrews being out. Favorable matchup as well. We have Kyle Napton. Shout out to Kyle. Danny Bellinger or Jalen Tolbert if Waller doesn't suit up. It looks like Waller's going to play. All right. It looks like Waller's going to play, but it's a situation to keep your eye on, to be sure, especially if you have Darren Waller in fantasy. But this is a good question. I probably would go Danny Bellinger. That's just me. I think he's the next in line, but keep your eye on it. Maybe pick up somebody in the afternoon as an option if you can. I would not prefer to play Daniel Bellinger or Jalen Tolbert in your flex. I'm assuming you'd have to play Jalen Tolbert in your flex. Mike Kinney, Bryce Young, Jimmy G, Mac Jones, start one. Barf. Yes, that is. Hey man, we all have, I know it's week one, but we all have these decisions. I'm guessing maybe you're in a super flex league. I'm hoping so, maybe. I have Bryce Young. I'm starting Bryce Young in a super flex league. I would probably go out of those three. Gosh, I'm just a believer in Mac Jones. I'm a sucker for Mac Jones. I think Mac Jones out of all three of those options is probably the best one. I would not play Bryce Young out of those three. I know I have to do it in one of my super flex leagues, but I'm not excited about it. It's between him and CJ Stroud, and I think that rookie quarterbacks, they're in a bad situation today, especially Bryce Young. So I would go Mac Jones or Jimmy G, but I would lean Mac Jones. Thank you for the question, Mike. We have Kyle Benter. The chat is alive and well. Thank you guys for submitting your questions. We'll get to as many of them as we can. Russell Wilson, Derek Carr, or Sam Howell, 4-point per passing touchdown. I know there's a lot of excitement about Sam Howell. He should be in a negative game script today against Arizona, or negative game script. Positive game script, sorry, against Arizona. But I'm going to go Russell Wilson against Las Vegas today. I think Russell Wilson has a bounce back season. I think if you've watched the show, if you've watched me on any show, I'm not the biggest fan of Derek Carr. He's never really been a good fantasy quarterback. You can just look back at his season by season fantasy points per game. He's been average. So I'm going to shoot for the upside there with Russell Wilson. Thank you for the question. We have Lefty GG in the chat, Likely or Hayden Hurst. I'll go Likely there. I think we might have answered that one already. You have Bobby Dazzler, P. Ryan, or Javonte Williams. I'm going Javonte Williams. I'm going to shoot for the upside. I think reports came out today, a lot of positive reports about Javonte Williams. It's amazing that he's coming back this quick from the injury. But again, it's a situation to monitor. But if you're going to make me choose right now, Javonte Williams, because we are getting these positive reports from Denver. So thank you for the question, Bobby. Kyle Napton. Russ, no question. Yep, that's what we said. Gary, Chris Godwin or Kenneth Walker, half-point PPR. That's a smash one for me. I'm going to go Kenneth Walker, especially if it's a half-point PPR in a good matchup against the Los Angeles Rams today. So thank you for the question. We've got a lot of tight end questions today. Tight end is a tricky position to figure out sometimes, especially if you punted it in your draft. We have a question here from Caitlin. Juwan Johnson, Luke Musgrave, or Isaiah Likely? Man, that's a good question. I think I'm going to cross off Musgrave, rookie in his first game. So that leaves Juwan Johnson or Likely. And I like both of those options today, really. Juwan Johnson was very impressive in camp. He gets a Tennessee matchup today that I think is pretty good. So I would actually go Juwan Johnson there if you're making me choose, but it's really, really close. I could see you choosing Likely there as well. So it's a toss up between those two. But if you're gonna make me choose, I'll choose Juwan Johnson. That's a great question. Shout out to Caitlin. We have Jeremy, Ladlow, PPR Flex, Algier. Yeah, Cordero Patterson. That's a good point. Cordero Patterson is inactive today, or OBJ. Oh, wow. That's interesting as my dogs are barking in the background. I'll probably go OBJ just because it's a PPR and there's there is a world where he does catch uh get a lot of targets today against Houston. But that's a good question. But the PPR leans me in the direction of OBJ just because of the targets that he might get. Although I'm not super thrilled about playing OBJ, but out of those two options, that's who I would um, choose. What is your toughest call this week? Man, that's a really broad question. My toughest call is probably those tight end questions, to be honest with you. Like, what do we do with Isaiah Likely? Who are we ranking him over? That happens really last minute. You don't have time to think about this. You sort of just have to, your brain just has to go into fantasy mode and make the best decision you possibly can. I think Isaiah Likely is a pretty good play this week, especially if you have Mark Andrews. Like if you were stashing Isaiah Likely on your bench, that was a good move. So I would definitely play him if you have Mark Andrews and you don't have a better option. So the tight end questions are some of the trickier ones to answer today, especially with Mark Andrews being out. George Kittle looks like he's going to play, so that's good. But like the top two tight ends in fantasy football are both out that you drafted probably pretty high. So this is a really tricky situation for people to figure out. We have a defense question, the first defense question of the day. Take a drink of your coffee. First defense question. All right, so we got second Caldera. I'm going to mispronounce all these names. Falcons, Seahawks, Vikings, or Packers. I do really like the Seahawks. How dare you? The Bears are going to score some points today. So you got to cross them out. I would probably I like the Seahawks there. I think. Let me just double check here. Falcons could be good. Actually, I think it's probably between the Falcons or the Seahawks. I think Tampa Bay could put up some points against Minnesota. I don't think Minnesota's defense is very good. So actually, I'm going to go Falcons there, but it's close. Falcons or Seahawks would be who I would choose. We got Tim Sauce, Mr. Sauce in the chat. Need to leave one out. You need to eliminate one. Javonte Williams, Khalil Herbert, or James Conner, PPR. Ooh, wow. This is a good question. Honestly, I don't know exactly how Chicago is going to utilize their running backs. I think I'm kicking Khalil Herbert out of there. And I don't think it's the greatest matchup either for Chicago running the football. So I think James Conner is going to get a ton of volume today. Javonte Williams looks good, like I said at the top, like I said at the jump. So I think I'm kicking Khalil Herbert out just because I think Roschon's going to play a role in that offense today. So thank you for the question. Big Money Joe, 12 man, 1 point PPR. Great. You guys, like for week 1, you guys are doing a great job of giving me format, of giving me specifics. Thank you so much for that, because it's very hard for me to make a determination without especially the PPR, the format. So thank you so much for doing that. We're about halfway through here. So get your questions in. I will answer them. I'm answering them as swiftly and as fastly as I possibly can. As fastly as I can. I'm answering your questions. 12 man, 1 point PPR. Need a flex. D-Hop, DeAndre Hopkins, or Khalil Herbert. Oh, DeAndre Hopkins, please. Please play DeAndre Hopkins in your flex over Khalil Herbert. Raven oh man, I can't say that. Progome. Khalil Herbert or Michael Pittman. Ooh, this is closer. Getting a lot of Khalil Herbert questions today. In that situation, Man, I probably lean with the receiver, but Anthony Richardson making his first start, that's tricky. Um, man, if you this is one where if it's like if the safer floor is Khalil Herbert, because Khalil Herbert's likely gonna get a certain amount of touches in the game. The higher upside is probably Michael Pittman. So if you're making me choose, I probably choose Khalil Herbert, but I don't love it because of the situation with the quarterback. I want to see Anthony Richardson play before I have a ton of confidence in starting Michael Pittman week in and week out. But that's a great question. So if you're making me choose there, Khalil Herbert, lefty G. I'm seeing sharp people pick up Ravens Justice Hill. What gives? I snagged him myself. Yeah, that's another player that the Podfather was on. He made a short about Justice Hill. If you have stash, like if you have spots on your roster, like taxi spots, a lot of times you don't have those in redraft. More, you see those more in Dynasty. Justice Hill is a great player to pick up because there were reports out there that he was going to be involved in the offense, that he was going to be more of a 2B with in partnership with Gus Edwards. So I like that as a stash, but a lot of you, I'm guessing that's not going to be very actionable because you don't have those taxi spots and your rosters aren't that deep. So keep an eye on it, right? Maybe if you have an IR spot, maybe if you have Cooper Kupp, you have an extra bench spot and your rosters are really deep, maybe Justice Hill's an option for you. But yes, that is a great point, Lefty GG. That's a situation we've been monitoring here at Player Profiler ourselves. Keep an eye on Justice Hill. He might be a running back that you might want to pick up later in the season. Likely or Everett full PPR. See, I'm going Everett there because I love that game. I love getting pieces of that game. That Miami Chargers game, I think, is going to be a shootout. And I like Gerald Everett there over Isaiah Likely. Daniel DeYoung, would you ever start Cooks over versus in New York over Elijah Moore versus the Bengals or Rashad White versus Minnesota? Would you ever start, I'm assuming, Brandon Cooks? Yeah, I think Brandon Cooks over a lot. I think that's really close. I would start Rashad White over all of those options if it's a flex spot we're talking about. But I think Brandon Cooks reports he was clicking really well with Dak Prescott in camp. Elijah Moore, smash matchup against the Bengals today. He could be really good, but I prefer Rashad White there in a really good matchup against Minnesota. We got Bateman or Swift, half point PPR. Again, I'm going to lean with the running back, kind of a boomer bust play with DeAndre Swift, but DeAndre Swift against the Patriots today is where I would go with that. A lot of uncertainty with Bateman, a lot of receivers in that offense, even though Mark Andrews is out today. Big Money Joe, 10-man, 1 point, PPR. Need a running back in a flex. Choices are Ramondre, Madison, Keenan, and Mike Williams. Okay, it's PPR, so we're going to go Keenan Allen for sure as your flex. And your running back, oh boy. I'm still going to go Ramondre. I know he has dealing with the illness, but he's still going to be the primary pass-catching running back in that offense. I know he's probably not going to get as many targets this year, but he is. Hashtag Fastly. Yeah, we'll have to get the hashtag Fastly going because sometimes words, when you're answering these questions at the speed in which I'm trying to answer them for all of you, sometimes the words don't come out the way that you want the words to come out. So hashtag, we're answering these questions fastly today. Mike Meisner in the chat, cash game, Ridley or Olave. Man, a lot of people that I really respect think Ridley's going to have a huge game today. So I am playing him in my DFS lineups today, Ridley over Olave. That's not to say I like Olave over Ridley. I think actually they're both really good plays, but if you're making me choose one, I like Ridley because not only do I like the spot, but a lot of other people that I like that are really sharp also like Ridley today. So I am playing Ridley. Just spoiler alert in a lot of my DFS lineups as well. We have Manny, Jamal Williams, or Zay Flowers flex for non-PPR. Oh, non-PPR, that's Jamal Williams all day. Jamal Williams is going to have a big role in the offense right away with Kendre Miller being inactive, Alvin Kamara. Jamal Williams, if you have him, you got to play him today. If you have him on your roster, if you're not playing him today, I don't know like what you're doing. Like, why did you draft Jamal Williams? Then is kind of how I would feel about that. So Jamal Williams, good question though. Nakia Leonard, sorry if I'm mispronouncing your name. Komet or Waller? Fields is my quarterback. Keep an eye on the Darren Waller injury. I think he's going to be fine. Everything that we're hearing right now is that he's going to play. I know that you have potentially the stack, but if you're playing in a 12-man league, you should still play the best player, and that is Darren Waller, even though I'm the biggest Bears fan in the world. And Cole Kmet, I really like, but I'm going to go Darren Waller in that situation, even though that is a potential stacking opportunity. We have Big Money Joe, Waller. Yep, agree with that 1,000%. Let's see. We got Cord Lopez. How do you feel about Nico Collins or Dalvin Cook in the flex PPR? In that situation, even though it's PPR, I am going to go Dalvin Cook. We are hearing that he is going to get a majority of the carries. They're going to ease Breece Hall into that rotation. So I would go Dalvin Cook there. I'm not the biggest Nico Collins fan in the world, so I'm going to go Dalvin Cook. Adam in the chat. Thank you, Adam, for joining. Thank you, everybody, for joining. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button, by the way, if you like what's going on today. Kirk Cousins or Dak? Ooh, that's a good question. Dak Prescott against the Giants on Sunday Night Football, or Kirk Cousins against Tampa Bay. I'm going to go Dak there. I think that that Sunday night game has a chance to be a shootout. The Tampa Bay Minnesota games, I don't know. We'll see. That could also be a shootout too, but I'll go Dak. That's really close. Russell Wilson versus Rodgers. I think I'm gonna go Russ against a really bad Las Vegas defense, and I think Russ bounces back. Also, Rodgers' first game against Buffalo. I just prefer Russ there. We got a super chat. Thank you, Tron Carter. Bateman, Jaden Reed, or Zay Flowers, half point PPR? Oh, man, that's a great question. I probably go with Zay Flowers, my guy. I know it's maybe a little bit risky, but Zay Flowers looked great in camp. I don't know. I think it's between Bateman and Flowers. Flip a coin, honestly. I could. It's a classic situation where you're like the hype is with Zay Flowers, and he looked great in camp. But I think one of those two receivers is going to have a big game, and I'm going to choose. If you're going to make me choose, it's Zay Flowers today in his rookie debut. Lefty GG, remind us of your name, please. Love your content, especially Dynasty. Oh, yeah. My name is Seth Dewald. You can find me on YouTube at Seth_DIEWOLD on Twitter and YouTube. Seth Dewald on YouTube. So thank you, Lefty GG. Yeah, we have a Dynasty Roundtable podcast as well. You can check out Wednesdays at 7 p.m. on this channel. My co-host, Matt Babich, and I. But I'm going to get to more of your questions today. I appreciate you saying that. Yep, Chark is inactive. Don't start DJ Chark. Evan, we got Howler Pickett. I'm going Kenny Pitt. Oh, he's playing San Francisco. See, I answer these questions too fast sometimes. I'm trying to go too fast. See, this is week one for me too, guys. I'm trying to go at a fast pace, but not so fast that I can't like think about, analytically what I'm saying here. Oh, that's a great question, Evan Ringler. Evan Ringler would do this to me and ask a great question like this. Evan's a big part of what we're doing here at Player Profiler. So I think that's actually Sam Howell. A better matchup at home against Arizona. He's mobile enough. He's going to get you some rushing yards. And Kenny Pickett has to play. I love Kenny Pickett, but this matchup's no good against San Francisco. I think, as crazy as it sounds, I think you have to play Sam Howell. I think you do. Tron Carter, Kenny Gainwell, or Elijah Moore, half PPR. I think I'd lean Elijah Moore. I like Kenny Gainwell, his outlook throughout the season, but I do kind of want to see what Philadelphia does with their backfield. I know there were some reports out there that Kenny Gainwell was the starting running back. The coach is wearing the shirt. Everybody's getting hyped up for Kenny Gainwell. But I think Elijah Moore is the play there, especially against Cincinnati, especially against the Cincinnati team that lost some of their secondary members. Jesse Bates, I think, gone. So anyway, Money Manny, Roshan, or Zay Flowers non PPR. I go Zay Flowers there. We're just not sure. As much as I love Roshan, we're not sure how they're going to utilize, how the Bears are going to use their backs in week 1. It's probably going to be a lot of Khalil Herbert, but I'm guessing it's going to be more of Roshan than the Khalil Herbert managers want. So thank you, Adam. Let's see. Yeah, I'm trying to be objective today, Jason. It's my job to be objective today, right? I'm always objective. What am I talking about? I'm always objective with Aaron Rodgers. All right. I have Lamar, Kittle, or likely late to the chat. Okay. This is I think you have to play Kittle. I know he's dealing with an injury, right? But he's gonna play. He's gonna play. So I think you have to play Kittle. So that's the direction I would go. Thank you, Ruckus. ETN or Jamal Williams. Oh, that's actually I think a really good question, but I think you have to go ETN, especially if it's a PPR league. Go Bears. That's right. Let's take down those nasty, no good Packers today. Yeah, thank you, Caitlin. I appreciate you being in this chat. All right. Hope to see you all season long. We'll be here answering your questions. All right, guys. We're coming down the home stretch. We have 3 or 4 minutes. Get your questions in. We have 30 minutes almost till kickoff of the week 1 of the full slate of games. 7 hours of commercial-free football. If you watch the Red Zone, is coming at you. Yeah, Jason Alwine says Gainwell. Ooh, Penny's a healthy scratch. I was not aware of that. I did not see that before I hopped on here. So if that's true, then yes, Gainwell might be a better play. And Swift moves up the rankings if Penny is a healthy scratch. Watson or Howell, I should be reading right now. We should all be reading right now. We should be reading to our children and educating them as best as we can all the time. Of course we should. Watson or Howell. Wow. I think I still go Deshaun Watson there against Cincinnati. Again, Cincinnati's lost a lot of a few, I won't say a lot, but a few of their secondary members today. Walker the third or Miles Sanders PPR. I'm going to go Kenneth Walker there. Kenneth Walker in a really, really good matchup against the Rams. I love Kenneth Walker to have a big day. I know he's dealing with like a groin thing, but it looks like it's going to be fine. So again, monitor that. Hopefully he doesn't re-aggravate that today, but there is a risk there. So if you want to go the safer route, I don't blame you with Miles Sanders, but Kenneth Walker's a better player in a better situation today. Jose Vega, pick one flex, one wide receiver, full PPR. Sutton, Mike Evans, Mike Thomas, Raheem Mostert, or Chris Godwin. Wow. Okay, you got some. I'm going to cross off Mike Thomas. It's full PPR, so I'm going to go Chris Godwin and Cortland Sutton today, but you have some really good options there. Likely or Higbee. I'm going to go Higbee for the reasons I mentioned. Okay, cool. So yeah, Penny apparently is a healthy scratch. This is happening live on air. So if Penny's a healthy scratch, that means Kenny Gainwell, DeAndre Swift, really good plays today against New England. Should I would assume split carries pretty evenly. Gainwell or Javonte Williams with news of the Penny scratch. Gosh, that's a good question, Adam. That's a really good question. These are the decisions that you come to me for, though. I think I'm still going to go Javonte in that situation. We're hearing nothing but positive news about Javonte Williams. So if he's healthy, I think you have to play him. So I'm going to go Javonte. Tough call, though, to be sure. 12 team PPR tight end premium. I'm going to go likely. I'll go likely there. We'll go rapid fire for the last minute. Let's see. Schultz or Conklin PPR. Ooh, I'm going to go Dalton Schultz there. Let's see. Jason Alwine, my colleague, is in the chat. I did TikTok and IG start sit today. I didn't choose likely one time, and I was asked a lot of likely questions. Is there a tight end you'd actually start over him? Oh yeah, I'd start a lot of tight ends over him. I think Like I think obviously you have to start this. Like Kittle is healthy. Kyle Pitts, you have to start over him. I think Dalton Schultz, I would start over him. There's just, I think there's a ton. I think it just like once you get down to like the Hayden Hursts, it's like, okay, I'd start Likely. There is some uncertainty there. Like Likely isn't just a smash play, but he's definitely in a better situation now with Mark Andrews. Like, anyway, so I hope that answers your question. Like, once you get down to a certain group of tight ends, it's like, okay, then Likely's a better option than a lot of these options. Like Evan Ingram, I would start over him, is another good example, I think. So hopefully that answers your question. And I think I've done it, guys. I think I've answered all your questions. Thank you so much. I'm going to get out of here because I have like way too many fantasy football lineups. Oh, we snuck one in here. Edward. Sorry, I can't pronounce your name. Pick 2 Superflex PPR. Waller, Ayuk, James Cook. Walker, Ayuk, James Cook. I'm gonna go Walker. Wow. Okay. Walker and oh man, Ayuk. I'm gonna go Walker and Ayuk. That's a tough call though. Thank you so much, everybody. We will see you later. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you liked what we were doing today. And as you know, I'm going to struggle to find the end screen, but I appreciate your questions. We'll see you next week. And football's here. 30 minutes till kickoff. Oh boy. Let's go Bears. Jordan Love's no good. We got this in the bag, and we'll see you later.